Tonight show, we have actor, mentor, and consultant, Shaun Mixon. And now for your host, KoolKard. Welcome back, everyone, to the Kickin with KoolKard show. This is episode 152. I am your host, KoolKard. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I say all the time, I do this for you. I can't do it without you, and I mean it. Listen, thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, I invite you to subscribe so I can continue bringing you these gems that my guests bring on here. Yes, my guests. I can't do it without them as well. Very grateful, very thankful to have consistent guests come on here that are doing great things in life, great things in their field of business, entrepreneurship, and just living, man. I'm telling you, got some great people that have come across this platform, and to no avail. I got another one tonight. Hey, last week, episode 151, I had Ralph Diesel come on. He is a Subway franchisee. He has 2 Subways. He's doing franchise 101 classes, teaching people the game. He gave out some great business tips on how to get into franchising, gave you some insider tips on how to not get got or gotten if you do decide to indulge in franchising restaurants. He also does real estate. He does a lot of things. Check out the episode. It's streaming right now on YouTube, on Amazon, on Spotify, and Apple if you like to listen to podcasts and not watch them. All right. But listen, this week I have Shaun Mixon. He is an actor. He is a consultant. He is a mentor to many. The brother is talented. He's coming on here to share his story, to share his dreams, his passions, his desires, the pitfalls of life that he's gone through. Everybody has a story. Like I said, I could bring people on here from in the same field week after week. They could be all actors. As you know, I'm an actor, so I know a lot. So I could bring on an actor every week, and everybody's going to have a different story. That's how life is, man. And this is what the show is about. It's for helping you. It's for helping me. I get help too. Just listening to people's stories, listening to the tips, all the things they have to share. I gain knowledge as well. So, hey, it's a wealth of knowledge being shared on this show. It's all transparent. Everybody's on here just really kicking it for the love of it. All right. Nobody's paying me. I'm not paying them. This is for the love. This is to share and to celebrate life and celebrate people's journeys and their dreams and their desires and their successes. All right. So without further ado, let's bring Shaun in the cool way, the way I like to do it. Let's get to know him. Let's go, y'all. Yes. Welcome to the show, Shaun, my brother.
Man, appreciate you having me. Glad to be on with you.
Yes. It's a pleasure, man. Had to have you. Know it's been a while since we spoke. Man, I booked you like 3 months ago, right? I'm like, man, I'm booked up, brother, but I gotta get you on the show, and now we're here. So I appreciate you sticking with it and staying true to your word. Means a lot.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like I said, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here kicking it with your boy.
Yes, sir.
I tell people all the time, I don't pay you, and you come on, man, and you bless me. That's God. That's nothing but God. So I do not take it for granted. Just know your time is valued, man, for real.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah,
my pleasure.
Thank you for coming on and being willing to be, just willing to be transparent too. So I know it's going to be a great conversation. I like to start every show with a prayer.
So okay, let's get it.
Give it up to the man. Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, we just thank you for tonight. We thank you for us just joining together, Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, to have an eloquent conversation about life and his passion and dreams, Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, and just the love of just doing, Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus. We just thank you for Shaun, Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, for being able to come on here, be transparent, and share his gifts and talents. Lord Jesus, we thank you for waking us up this morning. We just thank you for the essentials. We thank you for the simple things in life, Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, the things that we often overlook. Lord Jesus, forgive us when we do. Lord Jesus, we just give you all the victory, all the glory, all the love, all the praise, Heavenly Father, in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes, yes,
Shaun,
yes.
like I said, brother, I know
What's
you,
going on? Talk
but
to
I
me.
don't know you. I know you, but I don't know you. Let's get
But
to
I don't
know
know you. Yes.
you. Yeah, let's get
Yeah.
to know you, man. Give us a little backstory on you. Like I
Man.
said in the intro, you're an actor, consultant, you're a mentor.
Yeah.
I could tell you're seasoned. I could tell just from being around you, you're seasoned. So I know you've been doing it for a minute. How long you been in
Yeah.
this game, brother? Give us a little backstory on you.
Well, it's interesting, man, because uh, when it came to art, I initially started off in modeling. That's how I got my start.
Okay.
Um, and that began just being in the gym, making a transition from athletics, carrying around a build and a body weight that was unnecessary. Not
Okay.
playing football anymore or attempting to play football anymore. So went into got back into the gym and body started to transform. And I was approached by some trainers that was in the gym at the time. I was going to Lee Haney, former bodybuilder,
Okay.
champion bodybuilder. He had a gym down where East Ponce Marketplace is now.
Yeah. Okay.
So, hmm so this was years ago when I first moved to Atlanta, and I was working for the city of Atlanta. So he had a gym in part of their facility. At any rate, some trainers were in there. They saw me, and it was like, "Hey, would you be interested in being part of what they was calling a fitness fashion show?" That's how
Okay.
they titled it. Did that, caught interest in modeling, so continued working out, transforming my body, and my efforts to book more modeling gigs. I came across a brother that was he was a radio personality for I think B103 at the time,
Okay.
and I just asked him, because he in the gym and stuff like that. I asked him if he had any knowledge, anything came across his desk of any possible gigs or what have you when it comes to modeling. He was like, no, but I know somebody that is doing an independent film. I can forward that to you. I was like, well, sure, I'll check it out. It was just for a background, being background. You
Yeah.
know, Went to that and got bit by the bug, as they say. And what happened was, I went to the screening for it for that particular project,
Okay.
and I ain't gonna lie that I guess a bit of uh, the desire for maybe a little fame hit me a little bit. And when it was time for everybody to come up for acknowledgement, take pictures, the cast, director, producers, and stuff,
Yeah.
I'm background, so they ain't calling for background. So I'm just in the audience. I'm sitting there like, kind of, I ain't gonna say what necessarily I was uh, felt less than, but I was saying to myself, I want more. I
Yeah.
like this, but I want more.
Felt a little
I
left
want to
out.
be, yeah, I want to be up there on the stage,
Yeah.
next time around, or
Yeah.
what have you, or at some point. So, I would end up talking to a sister that was there in attendance, and she asked me if I was an actor, and I said no, technically no. She's like, "Are you interested?" I was like, "Yes." She was like, "Well, um, the lead guy for this particular project, his acting coach is here." She said, "You may want to speak to him and see if he would be, willing to teach you. You be able to, go into his teacher or learn at his studio,
Yeah.
take classes and stuff." I was like, "Done deal, done deal." So I did that, and auditioned for his class. Looking back now, I can laugh at it because I was horrible. I was bad. Bro, I had no idea of what I was doing when I auditioned for that class.
Hey, but
You
you
know,
got up there and did it though.
I did it. I did it, and thanks to him, he I guess he saw something in me. Even with that bad rendition, and what he did was, and this is where people that can, I guess, are able to acknowledge or recognize talent. They have a way to find another method to see if you have something to work with.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And because what he did for me was that after my rendition, he said, "Well, Shaun, he said, what you prepared, don't worry about that anymore."
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you a scenario. We're just going to improv. I said,
Yeah.
okay. So he adjusted me. He said, I want you to stand on this mark, and he said, I want you to deliver. You choose either my right or my left shoulder, and that's where I want you to convey your delivery. And he gave me a scenario where I'm a father that has a wife that is on trial for a particular crime where she could be sentenced to life in prison or death. And we have two children. And he said, the scenario in addition to that is that you have the opportunity to make the last plea to the judge and jury for any type of leniency of her sentencing. I
Okay.
said, okay. He said, take a second, think about it, go when you're ready.
Yeah.
Thought about it and start to speak. And within, I guess, maybe about 45 seconds to a minute, I started to tear up. And shortly after, he stopped me. He said, Shaun, you need to pursue acting.
That's dope.
And that's, yeah, and I
Yeah.
haven't stopped since.
Yeah. That's the true telltale though, honestly. When you
Yeah,
can get
yeah,
that improv, because it's like you're not so hung up on the words anymore.
absolutely. You're in the moment.
You're in the moment. You're not hung up on that
Mm-hmm.
script. We can get
No,
sometimes we fumble on that script, man, and it takes us out of
absolutely.
character. You lose the
Mm-hmm.
feeling, you lose the connectivity, you lose your ground.
Absolutely.
You're not grounded. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because you so hung up on the lines,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you lose the moment, and it's like
Yep.
it's not doing the story any justice.
Yeah.
It's not doing the character any justice.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah,
solving any problems. you're not.
not at all. I mean, none. If
No
anything, you
solution.
causing problems now.
Right. No solution. No
Hey,
solution.
you causing them to do like 2-3 extra takes. Be like, let's do it again. Director pulling you to the side.
Right.
They're trying to get more out of you and stuff.
Yeah, man. So, are you from Atlanta?
No, no, I've been living in Atlanta for quite some time. I'm originally from Charleston, South Carolina. That's home.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm from the land of what they call Geechee, Gullah.
Geechee.
Yes, sir.
They
Yeah,
they use
yeah.
that. They use
Very,
that.
very, very distinct vernacular in that particular region of South Carolina. You won't find another indigenous grouping of people that speak the way we speak in Charleston.
How
We
was that?
literally.
You give me a little bit of it.
Let me see. So, okay, so let's say you somebody I know, and I see you in the street or whatever. I see you at the mall. I'd be like, what I say? I say, Carl, what out there, Baba? Where you going? You chilling in it? You eat? Hey, you eat yet? Where you want to get some food at, man?
Man, that almost sound West Indian, man.
Yeah, it's like we have different terms for a number of things.
Yeah.
Um, many of us, when it comes to that, it's a accelerated type of speech.
Yeah.
The cadence is a little fast.
Okay.
A lot of the words are either elongated or shortened. You know, so
Man,
it's different. It's the you be there, you be like, if you're not from there, you be like, what they
I've
say?
always heard the term. I mean, because they even say Geechee down in New Orleans, but they don't. It's not the vernacular.
It's similar. It's similar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's similar. Yeah,
Now that
yeah.
you say
It's
that though,
similar.
yeah, it is kind of similar. Just listening.
Yeah,
Hearing
it's
it back,
similar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's similar.
Wow.
Yeah, but Charleston's home for me, man. It's historic. It's a tourist town. Historically, it's known as a major slave port. You know,
Yeah.
Part of the reason of the dialect there because there was a multitude of cultures
Yeah.
that came through there. Caribbean, African, South American. So it's a melting pot of so many various dialects.
Yeah.
That came through Charleston. So that's where it comes from.
How did
Yep.
you you got into acting,
Hmm.
got bitten by the bug, you pursued it, you made it to a certain level of where you are right now. So what
Hmm.
made you want to mentor, kind of reach back to the
Hmm.
youth, to the younger actors, and mentor them? And then also a question within that is, what is some of the, well, first answer that. Answer that. I'll ask you. I'll ask
Okay. So going through what I went through, learning as I went, I felt that I could, reach back and assist those have who had the same desire as I, or have the same desire as I, and assist them in navigating their way without having to go through so many hoops and hurdles.
you. Yeah.
You know, even though for me the hoops and hurdles I believe had made me a pretty good artist. I've learned a lot going through those hoops and hurdles. Having that those bumps in the road. But if there's something I can add to an aspiring actor or an actor, period, I'm willing to do that.
Okay.
I don't mind sharing information. Now, if somebody's trying to take me away from what I'm doing, then now I'm becoming a consultant. Then
Yeah.
that's a whole different conversation. But if we're just in general conversation, and I'm willing to, give somebody some advice, I don't mind doing that because, um, I could possibly be a little further along in my career if I had me helping me
Yeah.
when I was just beginning,
Yeah.
but I didn't have that. I did have someone. There's a good brother by the name of Rodney Harris with Slam Management. He really helped me along when it came to modeling. So
Okay.
especially when, modeling, photography. Really, he lined me up with my first professional photo shoot. So
Okay.
I learned what to look for when it came to photography in comparison to in comparison to having photo shoots with you know not no disrespect, but those who just did like wedding
Yeah. Basic
photo
stuff.
basic stuff, this special events, but not you know those who mastered headshots and high
Yeah.
fashion type photography.
Yeah. Those who can tell the
You know,
story with the shot.
those who have that eye through that lens. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Capture the
Yeah.
magic.
So, hmm yeah. So just being willing to help somebody else that may need that extra line of information that may help further them along.
Is that
Why
something
not?
that you solicit, or say, okay, with the mentoring? Because I said, you said
Hmm.
basically if somebody just needs some advice, what
Right.
going to do that. But when
Yeah.
you're taking you away from what you got going on, you're consulting. Do you solicit the consulting, or do
I
you?
don't. I did at one time.
Okay.
I did at one time I did at one time when I was transitioning from full time work 9 to 5 and trying to make that transition into being a entrepreneur contract for hire.
Yeah.
So just trying to garner more, income, another stream of income. I was soliciting that, but now that you know, past several years, auditioning so much more, working on projects. I don't solicit. I don't solicit it that much at all. Kind of what we talked about, prior to going live. I know that would probably take me away a little bit from, acting,
Yeah. Sure.
and being able to prepare in the manner that I like to prepare, for auditions
Yeah.
for a role, because I'm, having to, have meetings with somebody or whatever the case may be
Right.
and everything. So I don't do it. I haven't done it as much as I used to. Yeah.
Okay.
So
But if somebody
yeah,
wanted your services,
they can reach out to me.
they
They can
reach
reach
out to
out to me, and they can reach out to me, and we may be able to, maybe be able to, make some arrangements. Yeah.
you. Would that be
Um,
through Instagram? Would that be through? How would that be?
yeah, Instagram. They can email me. Yeah, 'cause, Instagram, Facebook. My email is Sean's acting at Gmail. They can reach me there,
Okay.
and yeah, and you know, I check all that pretty frequently. you know,
Okay.
and I will respond. I will respond. They just got, you know, just give me some time because they ain't no telling what I may be doing.
And that's why our good brother Dejour,
Hmm.
that boy's a beast.
That's my
he's
that's my dude.
he's in the building too. He just said so true. Pull others up with you. So he's watching. He said the game never.
What's up, D? Hey, I was just at his studio this morning taping.
That's what I'm saying. The boy is a beast because he's
Let me
doing
tell you.
all he's soliciting all his services and
Yeah,
still, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
absolutely,
It-
absolutely. I mean, Dejour has such a wonderful setup, you
Mhm.
know. And like for me, like I don't have, you know, I don't have a, you know, my own studio and stuff like that at the moment. But he has an awesome studio to provide so many services. And then he's so good as an artist, you know,
Yeah.
it just makes what he offers so much more seamless,
Yeah.
you know. Ever since I met him about 3 years ago when we met on set.
Okay.
We did a show called damn, what was the name of the show?
What was the name of
Murder
the show?
Chose Me.
What was it
Murder
called?
Chose Me. That was the name of the show.
Say it again.
It was Murder Chose Me was the
Oh,
name of the
Murder
show.
Chose Me. Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah. That was actually what the story that I just gave you about the the independent film that I played background. So the brother that was in that film he was a lead on Murder Chose Me. Brother by the name of John Singleton. Was it John? Was it that's his name? John Singleton? Something like that. But ended up reconnecting with him. But that's where Dejour and I met. We met on set. And then when
Okay.
he told me that he tape auditions, I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna come check you out.
Yeah.
Man, ever since then, he is my go-to. And I don't mind anybody knowing. It's like Dejour my go-to. If he's not available, I go to somebody else. You know,
Yeah.
don't be offended, but that's my go-to. If he ain't available, I'm coming to you because he ain't available. They understand that. You
Yeah.
know.
You're really getting way more for your money with Dejour because
Come
man.
on. I mean, you can go to him, tape your audition, get coaching
Yep.
if you are humble enough to receive it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Get coaching, get your clip edited and submitted all in one shot.
Yep.
Come on, man.
One stop shop, man.
One stop shop. One
Boy,
stop shop.
that deal. You that
No, that's
deal,
stop shop.
Dejour.
One stop shop. One stop
Yeah.
shop. I mean, and he and I, you know, that's my friend, you know.
Yeah.
And he and I have such great conversations. Like anytime I go to tape for him, we spend probably, if time allows, we probably spend at minimum 30, if not more minutes just talking, you know, either about the craft, about like for instance, we were just talking about life, you know, when I went there this morning, we was just talking about life and, being men, being men of color, being fathers, we have those type of conversations. And of course, we do deep dives in the craft,
Yeah.
and yeah, so we piggyback off each other a lot, when it comes to this information, and yeah, that's my dude, man. That's my dude,
Yeah.
Yep.
I know y'all have done a number of short films. Case 30 did
Yeah.
pretty well in the film festivals, right?
Our films they've garnered some attention. They've garnered some attention, man. Yeah, we pride ourselves on doing something different. There's a term that that Dejour introduced me to, called hokey. We don't do the hokey stuff. We're not, which means this typical run of the mill kind of what would be sometimes culturally anticipated stuff.
You don't even have to explain it to me. You explain it to everybody that's watching, but I already know when you say hokey, bruh, Tubi. That's all you gotta say. And
That's
hey,
all you
I
gotta
ain't
say.
saying nothing bad about Tubi. I'm on
Right.
Tubi. Dejour on Tubi. You probably on
Mm-hmm.
Tubi, but you
Yeah.
know what's on Tubi.
I know. You
A
know
bunch
what
of
I'm talking
hokey
about.
business.
Hey, bro. You don't have to go to Tubi. You can just go to Instagram. You can go to YouTube.
Yeah.
You can go to a number of platforms.
Yeah.
Um, we're not doing that. We feel that, and much props to people that, that do it, and they're garnering some attention, or making some type of a stream of income. But we just feel we have more to offer. You
Yeah,
know,
one thing I could say about Dejor's films, and with you involved as well, is that he pushes the envelope. There's always a twist. There's always
absolutely,
turns. You're not gonna get the typical,
that's right,
use my language, hood shit.
absolutely,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely,
Like there's
absolutely.
actually an artist behind that thought process. You see the
Talk
artist
to me.
in the work, in the art.
Absolutely,
You see it.
absolutely,
You could tell
absolutely,
there was some
absolutely.
planning. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
listen, man, well planned
Yep.
out stuff, well planned out material, and you don't get all
And
days, man.
to piggyback off what you're saying, Dejor does he does on a monthly basis, when at least when his schedule's open. He does Mafia 8,
Yep.
make a film in 8 hours. So he'll have me on to judge the entries from those who participated. And one of my critiques for those who participate is that we understand that you don't have the budget, you don't have the advanced equipment, but one thing you do have control of is the performance and the story.
Absolutely.
That you have control of.
Yeah.
And that's how he and I have approached the projects that we've done together. you know we understand we don't have necessarily the resources to make the film look like a big budget film. We may not have all have access to locations and things of that nature, but what we do have control over is the performance and the story.
Yeah.
To me, there's no excuse for that. You
Yeah.
see, there's no excuse. You can control that. You can control what you write, and you can
Yep.
control how what's written is being performed. You know,
Yes.
there's no excuse.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
And
You can't
that's
say you
why
can't.
there's no excuse for the hokey.
There's no excuse for the hokey. There's no excuse for the hokey.
Because I'm like, how
You
many
know,
times can you tell the same story the same
talk to
way?
me. Talk to me.
The same
Talk to
way,
me.
though. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, the same way. The
There's really
same way.
nothing new under the sun, but damn, you could tell it a different way,
Hmm.
a
A
more
different
creative
way.
way, put a spin on it, don't make it
Hmm.
obvious, but we're
That's
getting
right.
the same story the
All the
same
time.
way.
The same way.
The same
The
way.
same way. It's like,
Yeah.
can we get a little creative? A little more creative.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Dejor's called me for a couple of shorts, and I wasn't able
Hmm.
to do it, just time,
Hmm.
schedule, whatever. Even
Yeah.
even the miniseries. I
Yeah.
hate that I missed that because I love
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
with Dejor. I know it's gonna be just.
Hmm.
I mean, it's always a
Absolutely.
professional
Hmm.
environment. It's always a
Yeah.
creative environment. It's just good,
Absolutely.
man. I mean, he runs a tight
Hmm.
ship, and everything's on time. He's like, man,
Yep.
yeah. So
Yep. Yeah. That's he understands. And we've, you know, unfortunately, due to this scheduling, and things that he has going on, I have going on, we've kind of putting a pause on some other things that we're gonna be working on.
yeah.
But that's a partner for life.
Hey,
And we have things on the table that we're working together on, writing together and stuff. And we're gonna it's gonna come to fruition,
we
in time.
hey, listen. We talked about that before the show, right?
Yeah,
Talked about
in
that
time.
before the show. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What you
Absolutely.
got going right
Absolutely.
now is what you got to tend to. What God got for you right now,
That's it. That's it.
it'll be there
That's it.
because it's
It's,
meant.
it's gonna be there. It's
Yeah,
gonna be there. It's gonna be
yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Especially the foundation's already there.
Yeah,
And we're just gonna continue building. It's gonna happen. It's
yeah,
gonna happen.
yeah.
It's gonna
Chemistry's
happen, man.
definitely there. Chemistry's definitely
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
there.
yeah.
And
Because we say he and I say in particular, iron sharpens iron,
yep,
and there's no ego when we work together.
yeah,
There's no ego. There's a strong level of humility, respect, and
absolutely.
understanding. You know, Nobody's trying to outshine one another and stuff.
And
It's just let's just work.
just
You
show up
know,
and do the
and then
work. Show up and do the work that you're there for. That's it.
that's it.
Ain't
That's
nobody.
it.
They cut the Hollywood crap. Ain't no.
Come on. Come on. You
I'm
know?
telling you, man. I've been to some sets. No one's getting paid. It's all volunteer. But you showed
Hmm.
up to do the job, and then
That's
this
right.
Hollywood stuff starts coming out. Ah, you ain't paying
Hmm.
me. I ain't gonna sit around here all day. Like,
Yeah.
no, you don't. You see,
Uh-huh.
you're missing the point. You don't even see the value in what this is. Do you know what this can
And
do for you? You have no idea.
and the term you just used is value. You have people that will have that disposition on set,
Hmm.
and you're like, who are you?
Yes.
Who are you to make these demands?
Right.
You know, where are you? Where have you been a seasoned regular on a network show, or just recurring?
Yes.
Who's what director and producers are beating down your door to be on a project? You know,
Yep.
just because you've done a couple of films around town, you have X amount of followers on Instagram.
Right.
You feel you've garnered this type of so-called treatment,
Yeah.
favoritism. You know, who are you?
Yeah.
Nobody knows you out of your little small circle. You know,
And
but you coming with all this angst and stuff like that. Nah, you know, mm-mm. And that makes me laugh. That really makes me laugh. When because we hear stories about people like this all the time, especially unfortunately here in
all the
Atlanta.
time.
You know, all the time.
And if you really want
It's
to
like,
break it down, if they want to talk in those terms, it's like, well, you how big or how important are you because you came and showed up for this small
thank you,
opportunity.
thank you, thank you,
So
thank
evidently
you.
you don't have anything else that, I mean, like, you showed up for this.
That's
Unpaid
right.
everything, but you showed up for the
That's right.
opportunity.
Uh huh.
Now you want
Uh
to
huh.
be full of yourself. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any
Exactly.
sense.
Don't make any sense.
It
That
doesn't
don't make any sense.
make sense.
It don't.
And it's just bad energy on set for everybody,
Oh, absolutely,
you know?
absolutely,
So,
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you unfortunately, you get that around. You get that, on some of these projects, and I just sit back, I just laugh. I find it humorous. You
yeah,
know,
me too.
yeah, yeah.
What are some of the
It's really
like
good.
when you are speaking to younger actors or someone just
Mhm.
starting, you don't have to be younger, just somebody that's kind of green. What are some of the
Okay.
common mistakes that you see? I think I asked Dejour this question too, but what are some of the common mistakes that you see or that you try to correct?
I um I have suggested to a number of actors, those who may have you know been doing it for a while, or those who just getting started. Be careful how you're projecting yourself as an artist, um, because those who actually matter in the industry, they're going to do their research on you like any other job.
Yep.
So if you're being considered for a project, or you're just simply trying to get an audition, because a lot of actors that are just getting started in particular, they don't understand, for the majority of these projects that are legitimate, you have to get invited to audition for.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're posting about yourself online, are you projecting yourself as a professional?
Right.
Are you projecting yourself as a seasoned professional, or are you projecting yourself as someone that's just an amateur? And many, I feel, are posting themselves with the risk of the perception of them being amateurs. So if there's a producer, a director, well, shoot, before you even get to them, the casting team, if they're looking at your Instagram and nothing projects you as an actor, as a professional, why would they want to consider you? Unless there's just something about you physically or your antics that they just want, that they feel that meets the project or the character. But outside of that, you know, your presentation online is going to precede you before they even get an opportunity to talk to you.
Yeah.
or maybe even see any of your work, if you have any work that's even worth seeing. You know, so I've told them, be very careful of what you posted online. Like, for example, for myself, I don't post a lot on Instagram. I may post some things about me, maybe me kind of working out, which I feel is like in line with me being an artist,
Yeah.
staying in shape and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's going to be something within the craft. So I'm not going to be, you know, so many people fall in. I feel it's a trap for the attention,
I was gonna say that people get sidetracked by the likes or for
by the
the
likes.
so they start reaching, they start doing stuff out of character to grab
Absolutely,
attention, and you know that's not really
absolutely.
you, but you just need that attention. You
You
need
need that attention.
because when you post, and this is common, when you
Mm-hmm.
post your real work, your passion, it's great.
Yep.
Ain't nobody tapping on that. Cause nine times
Nope.
out of ten, the people that's looking at you are not trying to get left behind, so they're not gonna
That's
lift
right.
you up so that you can,
Yep.
you know what I mean? And that's just
Mm-hmm.
what it
Yeah.
is. We know it.
Absolutely.
But you post the
Absolutely.
bull,
Absolutely.
you post that bull, they gonna like that all day because they ain't got nothing to do with your
All
success.
day.
They ain't got
I
nothing.
uh I saw an interview with Jamie Foxx and Denzel. Jamie interviewing Denzel,
I saw the.
and Jamie asked him, and I'm paraphrasing, but the gist of what he was asking him was, how does he feel about actors or artists that post on Instagram and things of that nature, as far as trying to further their careers or what have you.
Yeah.
And Denzel's response was, branding for an actor is being good, not how many likes you get, not how many people are giving you hearts and
Yes.
stuff. Branding for an actor is being good.
Being good. Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Be
Speaks for
good at
itself.
be good. Be good at what you do.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and you ain't got to worry about all these so-called likes, because the thing is, we as actors, we want to garner, for me at least, I want to garner the attention of those who matter. It's great that we have our friends, family, whatever, followers we may have. Yes, thank you for the like. Thank you for the comment. Appreciate it. But as far as a career path and furthering the career, having those who matter, that makes a difference.
A lot.
So if a casting director likes what you posted, a producer, a director,
Yeah.
that's going to go a little bit further. You know,
Yeah.
that's going to go a little bit further. So it's kind of how I look at it.
Deja says, "What's your opinion on having talent versus having connections?"
Mm, hell of a question. Hell of a question.
Speak on that.
I would say that if you have the talent and you have the connections, that's a good one too. That's a good that's a great one too. I believe a lot of artists, Deja and I were kind of tapping on this morning, where you have people that feel they have the connections, but they ain't got the talent.
Yeah.
You know, um, and the thing is, even if you have the connections, depending on who it is, if you don't have the talent, they're not going to risk their project on you
Yep.
because you don't have the talent. You know, depending on especially depending on the severity of the project, if you will, the production. If it's like really some money that's involved, yeah, you might have the connections, but if people putting in money, there's like several investors. You just have that one connection with one investor, but there's like five others, and they try, that one investor that you have a connection with, they trying to bring you in, but the others are like, he's not good,
Yeah.
she's not good, because you don't have the talent. Then your connection isn't useful at that point, at that moment in time.
Yeah.
you know, because
And
you just simply don't have the talent.
I've seen where people have the connection, they are put in certain projects.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen them in any blockbusters. You've never seen them in anything that was significant
Mm-hmm.
because
Right.
you can clearly see they don't have the talent.
Absolutely.
It's only going to go as
Absolutely.
far, you know what I'm saying? It's only going to go as
Right.
far as the talent's going to let you and allow
Right.
you to go, and it's not there.
And Carl, I'm gonna tell you, I was just watching a video. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the actor's name. Oh man, it was I think it was the guy. He's an older actor, white guy, short in stature. He just died actually.
Oh, I forgot his name, but I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah, but you've seen him in a little bit of everything. He's been in the game for, he was in the game for a long, long
about.
time.
Yeah.
But I believe if I'm not mistaken, I was watching a video with him, and he mentioned something to the point where those who don't have the talent, if you put them in certain positions, you can really do them a disservice,
Mm-hmm.
because you put them in certain positions and they're not ready, they're not prepared. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Me and Dejo were just having this conversation not too long ago where, you know, everybody wants to have this fame. They want to so-called be the lead, but they don't understand the accountability and the expectation of being in that position. You
Yeah.
see, because when that camera goes on, okay, you the lead, right? Guess what? All the attention's on you.
All of
You
it.
got potentially, you got two cameras running. So you got two camera operators, you got a director, you got producers in the room, you got the script supervisor, you got the gaffers, you got grips and everybody. You may have 20 people in the room, and then the director goes action, and you lock up. You see,
Yeah.
them lines you were studying all last night, you can't remember a word from,
Yep.
because you're not trained.
Yeah.
See?
You train. Yeah.
You're not
Exactly.
trained.
Exactly.
You're not trained. But because of your connection, they put you in this position. They really put you in a position to fail you.
Yeah. Honestly, it stunts your growth because
Oh, absolutely, yeah, it can.
for people like that in those positions, you start to think that you're better than what you really are. So there's no desire to
Hundred
even
percent.
grow or get better because
Absolutely,
you're good
absolutely.
enough when you're really not. You haven't done the work.
You haven't done the work.
And
You
those are
haven't
the
done the
ones.
work.
And those are the ones who get real arrogant real quick too. And
Mm-hmm.
you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not good.
Yeah, you're
You were
not.
given an opportunity,
Uh
and
huh. Uh
you're
huh.
terrible,
You're
and you're
terrible. You are
arrogant, and you
terrible.
think, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you've seen it. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. Hey,
Absolutely.
let's jump into your reel to show what real acting looks like. How about that?
Oh, okay. Okay. Appreciate that.
Let's do that. Set
All
it
right.
up. Set it up. Set it up. It's your reel. Set it up.
Yeah. So if you're showing the one that I guess that's out there currently, so I am trying to get another one developed. The first scene is going to be it's really close to my heart because it was written and directed by a good friend of mine by the name of R.L. Scott.
Okay.
Um, Blessings to him and his family, because R.L. He's an angel now. He passed about 3 weeks ago. Passed away.
Oh man, that's recent. Okay.
Um, yeah, passed away.
My
And
that.
so the first project is a project that he wrote and direct, by titled "Call Me King,"
Okay.
and he wrote that particular film for Amin Joseph. He's the lead from Snowfall. He's one of the leads on Snowfall.
Okay.
So I had an opportunity to work with him, and so this particular clip is from that film, "Call Me King,"
Okay.
and I think the next scene is uh, the next clip is I think it's from another project I did. It was here. Uh, Honestly, I can't remember the name of it,
Don't worry
but I
about it.
enjoyed it. It was good.
Let's play
But
it.
yeah,
Talk about
but
it
we'll
after
play it.
the fact. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk
Let's
about
show them these skills, man. Let's go.
it. Okay, all right, here we go. Got to seize the moment, man.
Oh man.
seize the moment, Jed. Jed, you got to seize the moment.
Oh man, I see.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun project. That it's interesting looking back at that because we actually filmed that during the winter. That last clip on the reel, and it was like, shoot, man. I think it was probably about 30 degrees outside that day. It was cold.
Hey,
It was cold. Yeah,
yeah, I see you pretty
it was
good with your
cold.
accents too.
I try to give it some justice. I try to give it some justice, man. I do a little bit of studying, and try to, make it as authentic as possible, you know. So I've gotten compliments. I've gotten some compliments.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
appreciate it.
Not bad at all,
Yeah,
man. Not bad at all.
yeah.
What's your regiment for breaking down a script for actors who may be watching young,
Mm,
kind of get some tips on how to break it down?
hmm So I always, consult with the writer and get their insight on how they see the character. Um, Once I get an understanding of how they see the character, then I will infuse my interpretation of the character and find some commonality between my interpretation and the writer's, interpretation.
Okay.
And also, the director, oftentimes, you may come across a project where the writer is the director and what have you. But if everybody is, individual, then like the last project I did, that's how it was. There
Okay.
was a writer, director, so I had to get their input, and then I shared my insight. So once I get the understanding from them, then I infuse mine, and once they understand where I'm coming from, then I can actually do a deep dive into preparation. You
Okay.
know, creating a backstory, finding the justification for their being. Who they are, what they're doing, how they're doing it, where they're from, just doing, just basically, giving them a total history, you know,
Yeah.
because once I have the history of the character, that's going to fuel the justification and the reason for the type of performance that I'm going to deliver.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's where I start, and then like I was sharing on an interview for this pilot, These Stones, I shared with them. I prepare in three-dimensional space. So when I'm preparing, I'm envisioning where I am, where the character is, you know, regardless of what, scene it may be, I'm putting myself in that space.
Okay.
Um, because when it comes to the performance, when it's time to perform, I like to approach it where I am reliving a moment, and I'm not say doing something for the first time, if that makes sense.
Right.
So let's say for instance, if there's a someone that had a memorable moment playing a particular sport. Let's say they made a winning shot playing basketball, and they're sharing that with somebody. They're reliving the moment.
Yeah.
It's clear as day to them. It's like it happened just yesterday.
Yeah.
That's how I like to prepare for my roles, where I'm
Okay.
reliving the moment.
So you're not like you're doing it
Um,
for the first time. Well, not doing it
Absolutely.
for the first time. You've been there before.
I've been there before.
What
I've
feels
been
like?
there before. So now, if I'm just reliving the moment, the words come so much easier,
Yeah.
because not only am I the person, I'm the person that's just rehashing a moment in their particular life. You
Okay.
see, that's how I like to prepare.
How much of that are you able to pull over into the auditioning process? Because mainly
hmm
because of what I'm hearing is a lot of this is you've already made it to set. So for someone who hasn't
hmm
made it to set, how much of that can you pull over into the audition process in your preparation?
I do that as well. I
Okay.
do that as well. As much as possible, depending on the time frame. Um, I prepare in the same manner.
Okay.
And Dejo can tell you, I'll come into the studio and I already have, especially when it comes to self taping,
Yeah.
you can play a little bit more, but I try to, hold myself. And this is something that, Dejo and I have talked about, and we kind of try to hold each other to this, is where we want to get that particular take that you want to submit. I want to try to get that within the first or second tape,
Yeah.
Because in self tapes, you can tape all night, until
Yeah.
you feel it, however you want it, right?
Right.
Yeah. But so I try to prepare in the same manner to where I can get what I'm satisfied with or what I'm happy with within that second, third tape.
I feel like the best
So
takes are within those first three.
absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Becomes
Because
robotic.
now,
Yeah.
yeah, you get to that, say that sixth, seventh, eighth one, it's feeling too rehearsed.
Yeah. The
You know,
magic is gone.
it's not as authentic. And casting directors have said that. You
Oh, for
know,
sure. They can see
yeah,
right through it. Yeah. Oh
they
yeah.
can see right through it. Hmm.
Enough. They see enough.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like yeah.
yeah, yeah. They'd be like, yeah, this is probably their 10th take.
Right. Right. Just go
Uh huh.
through motions now.
Yep.
You don't even believe it. He don't even believe it.
You don't even,
He don't even believe what he's talking
you
about.
don't even believe it. Yep.
What is the
Yep.
ultimate role for you? What would be the ultimate role?
I can't say. I don't think it's come yet. Um, I don't know. I don't know if.
Particular genre or action,
Mm-mm.
whatever. None of that. It's
Yeah,
just
I'm so young in the craft, because I've been doing this for what, 12, 13 years. So I'm like 12, 13 years old in the craft. I heard Jerry Seinfeld say, your age in the craft is how many years you've been doing it. You know,
yeah.
so I'm fairly young in the craft, so I have so much time, you know, to get or consider what that role may be.
Okay.
Uh, I would say the the ultimate role, maybe just to give you a somewhat of an answer, will probably be where I probably have to really change my physical appearance. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that challenge.
Yeah.
Um, maybe couple that with learning another language. You know, and being able to articulate that language, very, very effectively, and
Yeah.
authentically.
Yeah. That's stretching the
Um,
art. That's stretching the art right there.
that's stretching. That's stretching. That's
Stretching for
stretching.
sure. Yeah. But that's the
Absolutely.
challenge we want though. As an
We
artist,
want that. We
challenge we
want that. We
get.
want that. Absolutely. 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 So I look forward to that role. You know, I don't know if that'd be the ultimate role or roles, but I look forward to having those challenges where I have to learn another language, where I have to change my physical appearance. Whether it's you know uh, lose weight significantly, maybe gain weight significantly. You know,
That's
um,
that's gonna take you to the next level.
yeah,
That type of role is a breakthrough to something more.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, I've said this as well, going back to what you asked me earlier about sharing with beginning actors, or even just actors in general, being able to interpret a character, being able to interpret stories that aren't, let's say, culturally familiar to you.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so if I'm a man of color, can I interpret a role that's written for, say, a Caucasian man? You see, by a Caucasian individual.
Mm-hmm. Because it's
Um,
their perspective, point of view,
absolutely,
norms, all that.
absolutely,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. You know, Same thing. If you go to other demographics, whether it's Spanish, whether it's Asian, and this goes back to the branding of being good. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you're good, you should be able to, you know, pull that off.
Right.
Um, that's my goal, you know, because if you think at if you think about, you know, say your A-listers out there, you just name them. You think about the Will Smiths and and Denzels and one of my favorite actors is Iman Walker from Chicago Fire. You know, I guarantee you, they can portray a whole lot of other characters that aren't culturally written for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how I want to be considered. You know,
Okay.
I don't want to be pigeon held and just portraying quote unquote a black you know um character. You
Yeah.
see, um,
And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, we see it coming up, in
Hmm.
our experiences here in Atlanta. It's like, how many times you gonna cast me for the cop? Thankful for the
True.
opportunity,
Thank you for the opportunity.
thankful for the opportunity, but how many
Hmm.
times?
But see, this is what you can do. Be the cop, but be a different cop. You see, don't be the the hard nosed cop.
Yeah.
Bring some other element to that cop. Like for instance, funny you say cop. The audition I had this morning was for uh, uh, a cop, but you could tell that the writing was geared toward more of humor.
Okay.
So my portrayal was more of a cop that was had that like kind of dry humor,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, so it's a different element of say the stoic, hard nosed,
Right.
real serious cop,
Yeah.
you know.
Gives you some
Be a different one.
flexibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So
honestly, the flexibility, it just allows you to be human,
yes,
you know?
absolutely,
Because,
absolutely.
like Dejoy, I've taken Dejoy's classes, and like he always says,
Hmm.
it's like, go the opposite and
Yeah,
don't be a cop.
right.
Be human. Just because the script says you're a cop
Hmm.
doesn't mean you have to
Hmm.
play with your
Absolutely.
interpretation of what a cop is and what you see
Yes,
time after
yes,
time. Don't be the
yes,
cop. Be
yeah.
human and be doing
Right.
something else.
Be human first. That just happens to be a cop.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
be human first.
Do
You
you
know,
have a,
he just happens to be a cop.
do you have a favorite scene from a movie? All time favorite scene from a movie?
Ooh. Yes. So I brought up Will Smith, right? If you remember, what was the name of the film? It's where he's an aspiring creator. He has a particular device that he's trying to get marketed.
Oh
It's where
yeah. And his wife leaves him, and then he
right,
finally, yeah. I can't
yeah.
remember what it's called, but yeah.
Um, it's gonna come to me in a minute because it's based off of a real life story, and this is where he has his son. I think his son's Jalen, maybe that's his son name. But his son, this is when like his son is like super young, probably like
Oh, is it Pursuit of Happiness?
Pursuit of Happiness.
There we go. Okay.
Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. If there isn't an actor out there that can appreciate this particular scene, I'm very I'm a component of scenes or the skill set of being able to portray everything, how someone is feeling, what they're going through without words. So in Pursuit of Happiness, there's a scene where Will has nowhere to go. He and his son have nowhere to go,
Mm-hmm.
and he locks them into a public bathroom.
I remember. Yeah.
And there's someone that's trying to get in, and he locks his foot against the door so they can't get in, and he goes through these levels of emotion as his son is in his arms sleeping. He doesn't say a word.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't say a word,
You gonna make
but
me
you
go
know
quiet.
exactly everything he is going through, bro.
Yes. Yes.
Everything. I'm just like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's one of my favorite scenes. No words. No words, but you know everything that he's going through at that moment.
Did you?
Everything.
Let me ask you this: did you have any input in the miniseries? Because I know you guys did in each.
Yes,
Okay,
I did. Yeah,
is that where that came from? Your love for
uh
able to
a little bit.
express without words.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, because Dejour and I we talked about that.
Okay.
You know, we talked about that. You know, the power in that, you know, the capability of being able to do that, you know, as an artist, you
Yeah.
know. Absolutely. 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 Yep.
Yeah, that's strong.
Absolutely.
Is there a
Yeah.
show right now that you would love to be on? Something that's out right now that you just like, man, I would kill to have a role on that show.
I I I really like Chicago PD.
Okay.
I would love to have a, you know, a recurring role or be a season regular on that particular show. I watch that show a lot because I really appreciate the approach that they take to that particular their storylines.
Okay.
Um, yeah, they go a different angle, you know, and I really like that. So that's one show in particular. Yeah, yeah, Chicago PD. Yep,
Okay.
yep. Love it.
Self
Mhm.
analysis. Self analysis. What's one thing that you feel that you could be doing better that's gonna, catapult you to where you're going?
Uh, go back to what I just mentioned as far as alluding to um the ultimate role. I would say learn a different language. You know,
Okay.
I think that would really advance me. Yeah, really advance me. I um I watched uh I watched the series from scratch. Just finished watching that, and in that particular series, uh, they spoke um, they spoke Italian, you know, fluently throughout that series. Um, I watched Peaky Blinders. I watched that series with, you know, John Hardy, and you know the being able to um, just deliver a British accent, you know, authentically and fluently.
Yeah.
You know, that's that's what I need to work on.
Yeah.
That's what I need to
I
work
would love to be
on.
able to do that myself. I can do accents, but I can't hold them for long, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Which means
yeah.
like certain words are gonna trip me up. The
Yeah,
English.
certain words gonna trip you. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And then it's like you know, somebody that you know your audience or whoever's viewing you, it'd be like, oh, there it is. Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah,
pull that one on.
yeah, yeah. And that's when they'll be like, "Why
Uh-huh.
didn't you just go get a British guy to play the role, or why didn't they go get a Jamaican
Mhm.
to play the role?
Mhm.
Because he just
Yep.
butchered it." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So you know you know the various accents and languages. Yeah, that's something I definitely need to work on. No doubt. No doubt.
Dope, dope.
Yeah.
Before we get out of
Mhm.
here, what are some quick marketing tips for young actors who are trying to get themselves out there, trying to get seen? What are some quick marketing tips that you could throw out
Be
there?
good. Be good.
Just be good.
Be good and display your greatness. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I've and this is not to be, you know, egotistical or anything like that. But I remember being on a network show and the director coming to me and saying that, Shaun, great work. I'm so glad that I chose you. She says that we had over 200 auditioners for this role.
Mm,
I chose you. She's like, I loved your reel. You're good. Enough said.
that's it.
Enough said. You know, um, one of the last project I just did, these stones, and this goes back to what I just mentioned about being able to portray roles that are culturally not in your, in your arena or what you're maybe familiar with. But when you have those, say, from everybody from the director to the casting director to the producers come up to you and say you were the unanimous choice,
Right. Yeah.
not because of how many likes you got on Instagram, how many comments you got on Facebook,
I just I
because you're good.
can't dig that, man. And they cast off of that too. And it's like, come on, man. People out here putting in work.
People out here putting in work,
Going
man.
in, like, cause
Yeah. I mean, if you're good, then use these platforms to, to display how good you are, but be good, train,
exactly.
study, you
Yes.
know, and your work will market for you.
Right.
And when you're good, guess what? People will start marketing you for you, you know?
Yeah. At the end of the
It's just,
hands down, good is good.
good is good.
Value is value. Provide some
That's it.
value,
That's it. That's
and,
it.
and the work's coming.
And it's coming.
They have to have you.
Eric, today, just today, before I left out of Dejor Studio, a director that I've worked with a number of times, she texted me while I'm in his studio. She's directing a project right now. She said something happened with the cast. Somebody dropped out or had to do something happened.
Mm-hmm.
She hit me directly, and she said, "Shaun, would you consider doing this role?" You know, and everybody, from the producers and stuff like that, took her word. You know, she obviously said he's good.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't auditioned for nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. It
You
speaks for itself.
can you do it? Are you willing to do it? Sure, you got it. And see, and that's you mentioned kind of about goals. I want to get, and it's coming in due time. But I want to get to the point where I don't have to audition as much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just doing reads,
Yeah.
or I'm just, having conversations with, directors and producers about a role that they can see me in, because they already know what you're good.
You're good. Yeah. Without a doubt. Right now.
You're
Yeah.
good.
That was just
You know, that's it.
yeah.
But it takes time. And that's one thing about this industry. You asked me about sharing with actors things to take into consider or whatever. Anybody that sees this, if you truly believe in what your desire is and your capabilities, stick with it. It's going to take time. It's
Yeah.
going to take time, to where you can get to a point to where you're able to live off your craft.
Yeah.
You see, that's one thing I learned, is that you have to be in the game. Some may, they may get in it, and they may, luckily book something that garners them, significant, stream of revenue. But for the most part, you got to be in the game for a little bit. I mean, you look at those who started, say, back in the early 2000s. Like, I met brothers like Rob Hardy and Will Packer early 2000, when they were still doing, more of the independent films, like Twa and stuff like that. You know, look where they are now.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago. Okay, but look where they are now. See, you gotta see it through. You gotta give it time. You gotta keep bettering yourself, training, learn your craft, stick with it, and in time, you're gonna get to the point where, okay, things are starting to level out now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give it time. Like with
Everybody.
yourself, bro. We were talking off camera. you're on that trajectory. You see,
Appreciate that.
you're on that trajectory. You keep doing what you're doing. You are on that trajectory.
I appreciate
Don't stop.
it, man.
You see, don't stop.
Yeah.
And we're gonna look back at this moment, and we're gonna be like, see, that's all we had to do. Stick with it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
really appreciate people seeing the value in it and just seeing the work. Like,
Yes.
just stay consistent and just put the work in. You know what I mean? It
Put
ain't
the work
happen
in, man.
overnight.
Put the work in.
Just get better.
Unfortunately, we're in a society. We're in this microwave society. Everybody wants something now, and they don't want to put no work in.
Yeah, they don't want to put no work in. They don't put no work in, man.
They don't
And
want to
that's
put
why
no
I'm
work
glad
in.
you're speaking on that because, in Atlanta, because the industry out here is so new and all these people
Mm-hmm.
trying to jump on the acting, bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that
Mm-hmm.
just want to be famous and they see
Yeah.
the opportunity to act, so they're,
Mm-hmm.
jumping on. Now you could become great,
Mm-hmm.
but there's some that won't because
Right.
there's no passion for it. There's no real love
Yeah.
for it. It's just I want to be famous, so let me
I
go
want to
act.
be famous.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
or if
Yeah.
you really do love it, but you have this microwave mentality because of
Mm-hmm.
locked into social media and all that, then
Right.
message is for you. Like, if you love it, do the work,
Do the work.
get trained, and
Mm-hmm.
put in the hours.
Put in the hours.
Audition, train,
You
train.
you gotta
Better.
long those hours. And when you do that, you actually are getting better. Because I know I'm a much better auditioner than when I first started.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
can break down the script and a character much better than I first started. You
Yeah,
know, I put in the work.
yeah,
You put in the work, man, and people have to understand. It's like you're not going to be able to usurp the process like that. You know, if you luckily get a role, then hopefully, if you get on set and you got this role by just by chance, hopefully you don't jack it up.
yeah. Don't fumble it. Don't fumble it.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't fumble it.
Don't fumble it.
Don't fumble
You
it.
know, because you may not get the opportunity again because they see, oh, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, we made
You
the
know,
wrong choice. We made the wrong
we
decision.
made the wrong choice.
People don't like being wrong.
Exactly, especially when it's going to cost them money.
Exactly. Yeah. Because guess what? They're probably not going to reshoot it, and now they got to put
Right.
out some bad work. The quality's
Absolutely.
not there, and
Hmm.
don't forever see that.
That's
And,
right.
and people know that you made the wrong choice.
They know you made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
They made the wrong choice.
I can't
So
remember
yeah.
what project it was. It was a movie. It was a big movie too, and they were talking about how, I think it was a lead or either the co-star just they weren't holding their own, and they had to do
Hmm.
so many takes, so many cuts,
Yeah.
just to get
Hmm.
something good.
Get something good.
This
Yeah.
actor was, yeah, it was
Hmm.
so
Yeah. It's funny, when you start working on your own projects and stuff, you find ways to hide the shit, if you will.
yeah.
you know, you're like, okay, we're gonna get, your coverage, but in post, yeah, we're gonna be cutting away from you a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Other person, we're gonna be looking at the other person you speaking to.
Exactly.
Even if they're not speaking, we just gonna get reaction shots.
We're just gonna get react.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
Absolutely.
man.
Because you suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
You suck.
Yeah.
You suck.
Yeah. That's how it
It's just
goes.
that simple. You suck. Yeah, man. So yeah, people they gotta get the training, man. They gotta this respect the craft,
That's what it
respect
comes
the craft.
down to. I mean, really,
Respect.
that's just what it really comes
Mm-hmm.
down to. Just respect the
Yeah.
art, respect the craft,
Spread the art.
respect yourself.
Thank you.
Stand on
Thank you.
something. You
Thank
know
you.
what I mean?
Thank you.
Stop,
Thank
stop
you.
chasing fame. Stop chasing likes.
Hmm. I had, when it comes to consulting, when I was, really offering the service, I had somebody to ask me. He said, "So, how many? What he said? How many or how fast?" He said, "Oh, he said, so how soon will I be making money if I train and get consulting from you, Shaun?" I said,
What?
"Yes, yes." And I told him straight up. I said, "This may not be for you.
Yeah, this is not for you.
No,
Yeah,
this ain't for you."
You let him
Yeah,
off
because
easy. You should have just told him, man, this is not. This is not
you know,
for you.
trying to be somewhat political and
Yeah,
stuff like that. I was like, this may not be for you, man.
yeah,
This may not, you
yeah. Go and give it up,
trying
man.
to, yeah, this ain't the
Stop.
thing because I share with people. I've shared with a number of people that um, I easily can spend probably on average um, anywhere from probably $400 to $600 a month on taping with Dejour.
Hmm.
Easy, you know.
But that says a lot
And
too. See.
right,
For somebody who knows, that says a lot. That means you're getting the auditions.
yeah, yeah,
A lot of people
yeah,
don't even get the auditions.
right,
Why? Because you
right.
suck.
Because
I'm just being real, right?
yeah, you suck,
Because you
you
suck.
suck, you suck, you
Don't
suck.
be mad at your
No,
agent. Oh, I'm not getting
yeah,
no auditions and that. No, go train, get better, so you can get the auditions. You suck.
and it's so funny you say that because I've had a couple of actors that know me. I know them very well, and they have come to me and asked me, Eric. They'll be like, "So Shaun, man, have you been auditioning?" I'll be like, "Yeah." Oh man, I'm not. I haven't. I'm barely getting anything, and I'm like, and I'm saying to them, I was like, "Well, is your agent submitting you?" Well, I think so. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, if they submitting you, you probably just ain't all that good." That's what I'm thinking to myself. You
Yeah.
know, and I was like, yeah, I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if this that they're interpreting you a different way, or you just kind of getting mixed, kind of getting caught up in a riffraff because maybe your agent has a number of actors that they just throwing out there and whatever sticks they just roll with.
Mm,
I don't know, but you're right. You got a lot of people that ain't auditioning. Period.
they're not.
But going back to the the economics of it. uh yeah, so I brought that up because those who are trying to really do this or aspiring to do this, if you want to you know present yourself in a professional manner and you want to have a good tape, spend the money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind, I don't mind spending that $400, $500, $600 they join a month because I know I have good tape. you know
Absolutely.
whoever's viewing that, they're like, okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
good. It looks good, sounds good, and we know how important that is.
Yeah. They got
Um,
to be able to see you in that role. You got to be able to see if it, is it
absolutely,
watching
absolutely,
or a TV show.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So it's like if you're not willing to, sacrifice that money, hey, guess what? Hey, you may not be able to go out this weekend. You know, say that $40, $50 to take that audition.
Yeah.
You know, So that's part of it that I don't think many aspiring actors want to honor. Even some actors that are doing it, they try to take the cheap route. You know, Maybe sometimes it works. Me, I like to go on the side of caution. I said, well, I don't know who's watching my tape.
Right.
I don't know who's watching my tape. And see, the thing is, just because you submit for that one time, that doesn't mean it's going to be watched one time.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if somebody wants to reference you, they may say, well, he or she auditioned for me a month or two ago. Let me let you look at this and see if we should invite he or her to audition for this current role.
Mm-hmm.
You see, there's always a number of ways to reference someone. So why not have the best tools to reference yourself? You
Yeah.
know, have good tape out there. You
And you
know,
can get booked for something else off of
come on,
that you didn't. Yeah.
come on. You may get a call, and all somebody did was go to your IMDb page, or they saw a clip of some good footage that you have on your Instagram. They were like, "I want him or her."
Yep.
You know,
That's how it
and
goes.
that's it. Yeah, because that precedes you before they even talk to you. They're like, "I want him or her."
Yeah. They already know you're good. They already know you're good
Yeah,
enough.
that's it.
Now it's
They
just
already know you good.
it's just the particulars, you know. Are you tall
That's
enough
it.
to fit the bill? Do you know?
That's it. That's
What
it.
do you and this other person look like together on screen?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can't control.
Yep.
But the stuff you
I
can control
that's
it.
right. You control it.
Yeah.
I just went through that. I had to, going up for a lead role and got the call back, accolades left and right. Shaun, great. Oh my God, I was on. You know, didn't get it, but ultimately, I understand it's probably because of all the particulars of logistics, height,
Mm-hmm.
chemistry of what they feel. There's somebody that they probably really really wanted or they really got, but they felt that matching them with me didn't suit the story or what have you. That's just something that's totally out of your hands.
Yeah.
You know.
But
So the question isn't, yeah, the
that
question
be
isn't
proud of.
if it's good, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You've
You
gotten
know,
that far, you know you're good. You know?
yeah,
It's yeah.
yeah.
You know that if it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
for the particulars, you booked it. That's how I look
That's
at it.
right.
You booked it.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
You did
then,
your job.
and what you're saying right there, when it comes to getting to that point, even when you get invited for an audition, I have a saying that you have to celebrate the wins,
Absolutely.
and what that means for me, celebrating the wins is getting an audition.
Mm-hmm.
That means that someone sees something in you and they want to see more. That is a win.
Yes.
You see, and many casting directors will say that. They say, "Hey, if you're getting invited to, you get invited, to audition. That's a win.
Yeah.
You know, that's a
Man,
win.
don't let the same one keep inviting you and keep inviting you.
Come on,
You know they're rooting for you.
they rooting for you. They rooting for you.
That's
They rooting
those
for you.
are
They see something.
definitely wins because we
100%.
know, like we just spoke about, we know the actors.
Hmm.
Man, you getting any auditions? I ain't
Yeah.
auditioned in 6 months. Yeah, I
Like,
had 3 this week.
yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
You know, so
You got a lot of that out there.
yeah, definitely fortunate.
Hmm.
That's the
Yes,
listen,
sir.
y'all. If you man pick up this game that he's dropping, these are for real. Like this is stuff
Yeah.
you need to know, just the little things, because it's not
Right.
all about reading the script and just saying the lines, saying the
No.
words. It's
No.
working, this man. This is
It's working.
cerebral. Listen, you
Extremely cerebral.
acting is mentally
Hmm.
exhausting.
It can.
Put
It
the
can
work
be.
in though. It
Put the
can
work
be.
in.
It can be.
That's
It's not
that's
easy.
that's where your training comes in, because when you're on set and it's cold and you need to put you and you're expected to perform, that's when your training is going to come in to get you through having to do that fourth, fifth, sixth take.
Yes,
That's when your training is going to kick in. You know,
absolutely,
get
absolutely.
get get the training.
Yeah,
Get the training.
because it,
That director pulls you to the side and they need another level of emotion. Your training.
hard work beats talent every time. Do the
Hey,
work.
do the
Do the
work.
work, man. Do the work,
Do
because
the
you might have to
work.
transform into something that you're unfamiliar with. It's unfamiliar territory.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
if you're trained,
Mm-hmm.
you're a man for the job, or the woman for the
That's
job.
it.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. You're prepared.
Yeah.
What do they say? Preparedness. When preparedness meets opportunity, that's your big break.
Absolutely.
And
It's,
vice versa. Big break, opportunity. I mean, preparedness,
you gotta
opportunity,
be
big break,
prepared to
opportunity.
take advantage of the opportunity.
That's it.
You got to.
That's it. It's just that simple. It's
Yeah.
just that simple.
Because
Yeah.
everybody's not prepared.
No,
So
they're not.
they're gonna take
They're not.
whoever's prepared that can, jump on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
And,
listen,
and, and, and being prepared comes in a number of ways. Being prepared can be, meeting someone out in public and you telling you that, you're an actor, and they say, well, where's your headshot?
yeah,
You know,
right. You're right.
Do you have a headshot? Or oh really? You have a reel? No, I'm waiting on some footage now.
That reel should be in your gallery on your phone. What are you talking about? Yeah, I got a
Ready
reel.
to go.
Yeah,
I
I
got
got
a reel.
right here. Headshot right here.
Here,
Oh,
headshot right here.
resume
Oh,
right here.
you can pull my reel up on YouTube, or
Yep.
you can Google me, whatever the case may be. And then speaking of reels, you know, actors have to understand, just because you've done some work, that don't mean you have to put everything on your reel.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Everything ain't real worthy, man.
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Big
I
like
was Christian Keys of he may be
Saints.
known for
The Saints. And
Saints and Sinners.
no, you talking about.
He and I were talking probably about a month ago at a screening, and we were talking about reels.
Mm-hmm.
He echoed something that I've always say. He's like, hey, if what you have isn't better than what your current reel is, just leave it as it is. You know, um, only update if what you put on there is going to be better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. I was like, you're absolutely right, brother. You're absolutely right. And I think, I shared with a brother on a project that I did earlier this year, and this happens to many of us. It happened to me, where probably any actor can attest to this, where you've done projects, and especially in the beginning, you're very eager to get your material and show what you can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had done some stuff, and he hadn't gotten his footage back yet. But what he was currently doing, what we were working on together, I told him, I said, bro, don't worry about that. I said, because this right here, what you're doing, I guarantee is going to be better than what you're trying to get from this other production. I said, I guarantee you what we're doing right here is going to just knock that out. I said, don't even worry about that anymore, because I guarantee you this is going to be your best work between that and maybe some other stuff you've done. I said, don't get caught up in the numbers. Don't get caught up in the quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Let's concentrate on the quality, because this one scene that you're doing right here, that we're doing, it's gonna knock those other ones out. You ain't gonna be concerned about that. You're gonna be like, man, y'all can just keep that. I don't even want it no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
it. Yeah. So
all quality.
Yeah. Quality.
You can have 3 scenes on there. If them things are killer, leave all the rest of that. Leave all the rest of the fluff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we want to portray us being good. Good.
Let the work speak for itself. Let the talent speak for itself. At the end of the day, that's it.
That's it.
Stop it. Stop it with all the Instagram. I ain't saying don't promote yourself and all that, but stop it, man. Stop with the likes. Stop reaching. You know what I mean? Trying to get likes and all that. Just be good.
Yeah, be good. And think about what you're trying to actually accomplish. If you're an actor, what are we trying to accomplish?
What's the goal?
What's the
goal? Most people don't have a goal. They just want the fame. They want to act. They want to be seen. They want to be a part of something. But what's the goal, though?
What's the goal? What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah.
What are you trying to achieve?
We're going to end it on that note, brother. What are you trying to achieve, y'all?
Yeah.
What are y'all trying to achieve?
That's it.
Hope y'all took
make that determination. What is it?
What are you doing it for? There it is. What are you doing it for? Ask yourself that question.
Ask and answer.
You might bow out tonight. You might just bow out. Gracefully go and bow out, man. Save everybody. Save yourself some time, money.
Yep.
And bow out if you're not doing it for the right reasons. For real.
Absolutely.
We've been doing this.
For real.
We've been doing it. We know what we're doing it for. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, listen, brother, I appreciate your time, man. It's been a real
I thank you. This has been great, man. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Look forward
Yeah.
to the next time.
Great
Yeah.
conversation, man. Definitely. Yeah, I'll definitely have you back
Absolutely.
on, man. Projects, whatever. We in
Yeah.
the circle. Dejour,
Yeah.
thank you for tapping in.
Yeah, D. We gonna holler, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Um, yeah, man. Oh,
Yeah.
and man, her how is she slipping me? Oh man, beauty is as beauty does. Deja, somebody tell me your name. I done forgot her name. I feel bad. Name is slipping me. She's on here too, asking questions and talking.
Mm-hmm.
My apologies. Blame it on my mind. Blame it on my mind.
It's okay. I
But
mean, if there's something that she got a question trying to get answered for before we get
no,
off,
I
I got.
asked all the questions already. I just
Oh, okay,
forgot
cool,
her
cool, cool,
name.
cool.
Yeah, my apologies.
Okay,
Blame it on the mind. Blame it on the
that's
mind.
all right. Well, whoever she is, we thank you for chiming in.
God,
Appreciate it.
hold on, man. No, hold on. I gotta look her up on Instagram real quick. Somebody tell me her name. Deja, where you at? Hold on. I can't go out like this. Hold on. Hold on. I can't go out like this. There we go, Lakita. I'm going
Oh,
crazy.
yeah,
The
yeah,
homegirl. You
yes,
know what I
sir, yes,
mean?
sir. Keita, what's
Yeah,
up?
Keto, man. My bad, Keto.
Yeah,
Blame
yeah.
it on my.
Another talented actor too.
Yeah,
Another talented
absolutely.
actor.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
She put in that
absolutely.
work, man.
Oh
Blame
yeah,
it
she
on my
putting that
mind,
work.
Keita. Blame it on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's late at night. Your
Appreciate
boy getting old is feeble. Feeble right now. I'm just
it.
nah, but thank y'all for tuning in and hitting the comments, man, and posting. They asked some good questions too. I was asking you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great
So thank
question.
y'all for
Yeah,
tuning in. Lakita Booker, there we go. Shout out.
yeah,
Lakita Booker,
Keita.
talented
Yeah.
actress. Deja Ashwood, talented,
Mm-hmm.
talented actor.
My dude.
Man,
Yeah.
whatever else
Yeah,
you
the three of us, we had a project that was recently in a film festival. Actually, Case 30, had
yeah,
opportunity to be submitted for several film festivals. So, the three of us, Lakita, Deja, and myself, we all worked on that. That was a wonderful project.
indeed.
Um, yeah, so we all be working together at some point once again.
Yeah. I gotta
Yeah.
get back active too, man. Deja, call me, man. Hopefully this time
Hey,
pull up on you.
yeah, you gonna
He
make it
always
happen.
does. He always does. Man, it's like the last two times, maybe even three, I wasn't
Uh-huh.
available, and I'd be like kicking myself, like
Yeah.
But it is. I be wanting to be there, man.
Yeah.
He
It's coming, man. It's coming. It's
throwing me
coming
that
for sure.
bone too, but it's
Hmm.
all good. But anyway,
Hmm.
hey man, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Like I said,
Oh, my pleasure, brother. My pleasure, brother.
great story,
Absolutely.
great journey,
Anytime.
man. Blessings, praying for you, like always, man. Praying for my people. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
We in this journey. I ain't even gonna say no
Yes, sir.
struggle. We in this journey, man. It's a journey.
Absolutely.
It's an experience. Yeah. So much praise on all that you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that.
You
Same to
a
you.
blessing to others. Anybody that want to hit you up,
Hmm.
tag is right there. Shaun Mixon
Okay.
thing. Hit him in the
Yep.
DMs. If you got questions, you need a
Absolutely.
mentor, you need, anything. I think you can get a lot right here though. You could probably save yourself some money, but I don't want to mess your money up either,
It's all
Shaun.
good. Hey,
But
it's all good,
you
bro.
get
It's
a
all
lot.
good.
He
Hey,
gave a lot right
it, it,
here.
it's all gonna come right back to me.
Yeah, he gave a lot of free game right here. So
Yeah.
listen, man, this is an hour and
So,
what? Hour and 37
hour and a
minute
half, something
interview. If you can't get something out of this, just quit.
like
Just quit. Stop playing
that.
with yourself. Stop playing with yourself.
Yeah, this ain't for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
if none of this made sense to you,
this
this ain't for you.
ain't it, man. This ain't
Yeah,
it.
this ain't
Stop
it.
it.
This ain't it.
Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. You know where I'm at every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, kicking it with somebody like Shaun Mixon. Hey, if you have not subscribed, please do so. Dropping gems, providing value on here for you to go out and be great with it. All right. Until next time, we are out. Holla at Shaun if you need some
Yes,
consulting,
sir.
some mentorship. Holla at Dejour if you need taping,
Yeah.
acting
Or real.
classes,
Mm-hmm.
for
Or
real,
real.
the
Mm-hmm.
whole nine. Holla at
All that
Lakita if
dude.
you need some beauty products, getting dolled up, all that. All that. And if you find
Yes,
Shaun on
sir.
there, you can find their tags on there as well. Deja
Yep.
Ashwood, Lakita, I'm not sure of her tag, but you can find everybody
You can, hey, if you can find one of them, you can find any one of us. You know,
Right.
we all interlinked.
Right. And Lakita, what's up with my interview? We'll talk about that later though.
Another one. That's another one. Got to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
her on.
Yeah, no, she had a family emergency when we were scheduled because I had her scheduled actually. She had a family emergency, so
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm just messing with her. But yeah, thank you, man. Once again, we are
My
out
pleasure.
of here. Till next time, peace and love.
Yes, sir.
152, we a wrap. Let's go.
We gone.